I think a lot of times we assume success is like kind of this linear journey, right? Versus for you it was, I'm going to go play football. Yeah. And then that's not going to work. I'm going to help people on LinkedIn. I don't know why. I just like connecting people. I like talking to people. I like what I'm learning. I want to better myself. This takes you don't know where. Then your mentor tells you need to practice your public speaking because you don't know how to public speak. Yes. So now you start public speaking, but you don't have any money for food. So now you're shoving food down your pants. Somebody over there says, hey, what are you doing? You go and start helping this person with LinkedIn. You don't know what you're going to get out of it, right? You're doing this because you're trying to provide value to people. You're trying to put out as much value as possible, not showing, you have no idea where it's going to go. This guy happens to write a lot of books. Because he happened to write a lot of books, now you got into books. I mean, and I think this is where, the idea of like, you got lucky, man, that this guy was there. But because I hear that a lot, but I think the point here is like, what is luck? It's because you kept putting yourself in these situations. Maybe he would have been a real estate guy. You might have ended up somewhere else, or a car person, and you would have tried something else, but you were able to put yourself into a different position to absorb these opportunities.
Exactly.
So then
put myself out there.
You put yourself out there, and you kept doing it again and again and again and again, even though you were scared. It was something you didn't want to do. And then you had this idea of always thinking bigger, where you're like, you know what, I'm going to keep trying to add new revenue streams. And I love where you said now the scalability comes in, because now you find you're doing LinkedIn on the internet, but there's only so many people you can coach or talk to one-on-one or in this group setting. So now you're like, well, why don't I harness the power of the internet, bring more people onto a webinar, and then what did you offer then as services?
So the first webinar I did, again, a guy named Joel Comm, found out about me. Again, I went to a social media marketing event. My LinkedIn networking event I did in Cleveland, Ohio. Met a guy there who said, you need to go to this other conference in Vegas called Affiliate Summit. It's kind of like this big affiliate marketing event. He goes, there's going to be a lot of people there. They're going to want to learn from you. And I go, I can't afford a flight out there. I can't afford the hotels out there. And it's like $2,000 a ticket. I don't have that type of money. Yeah. Like, even though I was making more money, I was like, I can't see myself spending $2,000 on a ticket to a conference.
Because now you were trying to hold on to this money.
Hold on to this money. I'm trying to like not go back to broke again, right? I was in this mindset of that. And he goes, well, maybe you can get a press pass. He's like, I know the founder. If you apply for a press pass, you might be able to get a free ticket. And maybe you can find like a middle backseat, Southwest ticket for something cheap and get out there. And maybe you can find someone to room with. And so I go, okay, well, let me at least apply for this press pass. And I got a free ticket to the event. So I found a way to get out there. And I think I stayed with a friend or something like that I met online or something. And this was like, hey, can I crash in your couch in Vegas? And I got out there within the first hour of me being at this conference. So I met a guy who came to my event. He said, you should do this thing. I go to Vegas for this conference. I put myself out there, I try it. I have no clue what I'm going to get out of this experience. Within the first hour, there's a little trade show. And the guy that I had met, his name is Jim in Cleveland. He had a little booth at this conference. He's the only guy I know. I go up to him, I see him in this trade show, and I say, hey, Jim, good to see you, how you doing? Within minutes, this guy named Joel Comm walks by. And at the time, he was a pretty big deal in the online marketing space. Pretty well known, had a New York Times bestseller, and just was like doing online marketing pretty well before a lot of people knew what they were doing. So he was kind of a bigger name at this thing. Within minutes, Joel walks by. Jim knew Joel, and they're chatting for a moment. And Joel's like, hey, what's your name? To me. And I go, hey, I'm Lewis. And Jim steps in and says, this is the LinkedIn marketing guy. Like, I've never met anyone who knows LinkedIn like this guy. And at the time, no one was really talking about LinkedIn. They were talking about Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, but LinkedIn was like this boring thing. I was trying to make it exciting. And Joel looks over at me, he goes, oh yeah? Give me your pitch on LinkedIn. And in 30 seconds, I'm just like, here's why LinkedIn is the #1 platform in the world right now.
Yeah.
The household income per individual is higher than any other platform. It's all business focused. People want to make money. And I just kind of went blank and just said all these things that I knew. And he goes, oh, it's interesting. Good to meet you. And that was that. A month later, I get an email from Joel who says, I'm doing this online boot camp. And I've got the expert on, it's a social media boot camp. I've got the expert on Facebook, I've got the Twitter expert, and I've got the YouTube expert, but I don't know anyone talking about LinkedIn except for you. Would you come on and teach for about 45 minutes about everything you know on LinkedIn? And then at the end, can you sell a program and we'll split it 50-50, like an online program, teaching it? And I go, absolutely. So I just said yes right away. I had no clue what I was gonna do.
Did you have a program to sell?
I had no program to sell. I had no presentation. I had never done a webinar. I didn't even know what a webinar was. Yeah. Now everyone knows what they are, but in 2009, when I did this, I was like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to build a web page. I didn't know how to do a checkout card. I didn't know how to do,
But you still said yes.
But I said yes. And I was like, I'm in. And I had like a week to prepare. And I remember being like, this is incredible, but I'm so terrified because I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I don't wanna mess this up. So luckily, he had me kind of go last. Like, it was every week or a couple times a week, they were doing these live webinars for a few weeks. So we had different experts going before me. So I watched what they taught and how they structured their slides. And I just created a slide deck that was mimicking what they did, but putting my content on there. They were all selling these online courses and programs. I didn't know how to develop a course. I didn't have a course. I didn't even know how to get a checkout page. I called a buddy of mine who I had met who had like sold an ebook online. And I go, can you show me how to just set up a checkout page to receive money? But I don't have enough time to make a course in the next few days to sell anything. What do I do? He said, just offer something on PayPal and say you'll give an advanced LinkedIn training in a couple of weeks. And if people pay you, then you deliver it. And if they don't, then you don't have to make anything. And I go, okay, we'll see. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I ended up getting in this live training, and I think there was about 600 or 700 people on live. So I was kind of terrified, but I'd just been doing some public speaking training at the same time. So luckily at that time, you couldn't see the camera. It was just audio and you could watch the screen. So they couldn't see me. But I'm terrified. I'm living at my brother's place still, paying $250 a month. It is in the middle of summer. I'm sweating like crazy. I've taken my shirt off. My brother doesn't have AC in the house.
Oh, wow.
Middle of summer in Ohio, you know what that's like in the little state of Michigan, how painful that is in the summers there. And I'm like terrified, dripping sweat. If people would have been able to watch me, it would have been game over. But luckily they couldn't see me. But I somehow just get into the flow. After kind of fumbling the first 10 minutes of like, oh, you know, this is who I am, and blah, 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 I get in the flow. Because at that point, I'd spent a year and a half on LinkedIn, like 4 to 6 hours a day, just like studying it and researching it, connecting people. I'd done all these networking events. I was like, I know this material. And I just started teaching it, and I started giving people real examples. I was telling people, go on your LinkedIn profile right now, change this, do this, refresh it, see the results. I was just trying to give as much value as I could for free. And at the end, I go, guys, if you found this valuable, like type in yes in the comments. And it's just boom, all these yeses. And I go, would you like more advanced LinkedIn strategies? I wasn't able to give you everything in this 60 minutes. Would you like more? Yes, boom. And I go, well, go to paypal.com/74*68263-87. I didn't have a checkout page. I didn't have anything. I had a janky PayPal link that I said, here, go in here, type this down, open up this page. And you know, I charged I think it was $149. And I go, here it is. Buy this. You get nothing now. But in a couple weeks, I'll send you an email and I'll do another live training. That was essentially what they got. I had no clue what was going to happen. The webinar ends. Again, I'm shirtless, drenched. And I'm just like, what just happened? I closed the webinar. I opened up my Gmail account. And it was probably one of the most beautiful sites I'd ever seen at that time. Every line on my Gmail account on my computer said, you've received payment.
Wow.
You've received payment. You've received payment. You've received payment. The whole thing was filled with these PayPal, you've received payment. And I was just like blown away. And right away, I opened my PayPal account and there was $6,200 in there. And I go, I am the richest man in the world. I'm running around screaming. I'm picking up the cat, my sister-in-law's cat. saying, we did it. I'm like half naked and hair is all over me, screaming my face off because I was like, holy cow, I just spent the last year hustling, doing these events, 20 events, writing this book, one-on-one coaching, selling, like running around the country on buses to get with boxes of books to get to the next venue and selling and just like figuring it out. And in 1 hour, I made $6,200. This is life-changing. And I remember thinking, I will do this every day for the rest of my life if I can make $6,200 a day. And for almost 8 years, I did a webinar every week.
Wow.
I just went all in on learning how to master webinars, learning how to become a better presenter, a better speaker, a better teacher, how to create programs, how to do all these things. Now, I had to give 50% of that to the co-host at the time because he's the one who promoted the event. You know, as a promoter and an event creator, you got to pay the promoter. You got to pay the fee. You got to pay the venue. You got to pay all these things that go out. So I got half of that. Then I had to go and create this program and deliver it live. That took time and energy. But now I had a course that I could sell over and over again. So that was the price of admission was doing all these things for really a couple of years until I learned skills on how to do it better. And that was a game changer for me. So all these pieces, going to the Toastmasters, meeting someone who told me to start doing a book, meeting someone to say, why don't you start doing events, going to the Tweet Up, who inspired me to do LinkedIn events, going to Cleveland, and the guy saying, you should check out this event. That led me to going there, having the courage to figure it out, and meeting someone, him telling me to do a webinar, and me saying, okay, let me try this. And just following down the path of what was showing up in front of me that was inspiring me, but I had to keep taking the action like you said.
If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.